Hi guys, my name's Wayne Crooks. I'm the Technical Support Officer for Emelec. So in recent times I've had a number of calls with regards to IC4 ratings, insulated panel, insulation material and things like that, and where does our fittings fit, how do they fit, why do they fit, and so on and so forth. So what I want to do is, first thing I want to introduce is my colleague here, Bo. He's our internal engineer for Emelec. So the one thing we've got to start with, all electricians have a Bible, right? And it's AS3000. So what I need you to refer to if you're ever in question, as much as I am an electrician, still an electrical contractor, you must refer to your standard. And it's section 4.5.2, lamps and luminaires. Now, as you go through there, you'll be able to see what's allowed, what's not allowed. You know, there are charts, there are warnings, there are explanations on what is an IC rating, what's an IC4, and also, right as we go back here, there's a table of telling you what you can and can't do. At this point in time, my job here is to talk to you about insulated panel. Insulated panel is normally a panel that has tin on one side. Now, this is flat tin, so this is a 75mm cold room style panel, also a roofing panel, but it has a flat top. You may get them with custom orb on top, with normal tin, with basically whatever form you want on the top. However, the bottom is always nice and flat. Now, in this case, what I've gone through and I've done is I've cut 4 different samples of how they should be installed. Now, the one thing I'm going to illustrate is that face there is in constant sun. This is the face here that's going to have the heat, the sun continually belting on it. Now, we go for the insulation because this face here is the face we want to keep as cool as possible. This is where we're going to be sitting under. We're going to be parking our cars under it. All right? So what we need to do is retain as much of that insulation as possible. Now, this is a 90mm downlight, which I've cut in, but I've actually cut it so you could see the profile. With this profile here, you can see I've left quite a bit of insulation. Now, the other problem is though, if I was to put my downlight in here, I've left no room for any airflow around the downlight. Now, we all know that the spring clips on a downlight will pull it up, but there's always that opportunity for a little bit of airflow around it and things like that. But in this case, I haven't left any airflow. The other thing to note too is, it's not a very smart idea to use a plastic. Now, this is a plastic downlight. It's our Mr. Multi. It's a really popular light fitting, but there's one thing and one issue that you can see. It's glaringly obvious. I've had to cut all the insulation away at the top there, which means the top of this light has about a 10mm gap between the top of the light and the base of the tin. Now, the only thing separating it from the sun is the tin and the glue that holds that little bit of foam that's left in there. Okay, so on a really hot day, I've got my light on, so I'm generating heat internally. Now I've got the heat here. That light is not going to last long. The temperature in that little area, because I haven't taken it out any further to give any airflow, I've just basically cut the hole to the size of the light. That area there will get in excess of 150 degrees. There's nowhere for the heat to go. It's trapped heat, so it's just going to continue to get hotter and hotter and hotter until nightfall and until the sun basically goes away. When you look down here, right, this is our 1box90. So similar to our MR10s and our MR13s, they're a very low profile. Now, you can see on this particular one, I've actually taken it out a little bit further. That's not to put the driver in, okay? So my lead here will go into the normal channel that is provided and go up, and the driver will be mounted in the eave. What it does give me though is a really good room for airflow, so for heat expansion and things like that. But the other thing to note, I've left a good 20-25mm of the insulation there, so when the sun's beaming down on there, I have got some insulation properties between the light and the actual tin on the top. So that means my light's going to last quite a long time. Whether it's the 1box90 or it's our MR10 or MR13, they're going to last. The other option that I've completed is this one here. Now I haven't taken it out as far, but that's basically the same hole without a light in it. The one thing you need to be careful of is tin, when you're cutting it, is very, very sharp, okay? But as you can see, I've just scalloped it out, and I've just used a screwdriver. Now, this one was easy because I'd cut it into a profile. But what you need to remember is leave as much at the top as you can, open the sides up as much as you can. By leaving in this insulation here, you're not reducing the insulation properties of the panel as much as you actually think, because you're actually putting a downlight in there. So you're actually putting a downlight, which we'll show you shortly, which runs at about 40 to 45 degrees in there, but we're insulating the sun from there, okay? So I've been asked a number of times, why can't I just put the driver in there as well? Now, our drivers are IC4. These mouse drivers, which come with the OneBox 90 and the MR10 and MR13, are IC4 rated. However, if I was to make that big enough to put that driver in there, we've now got the heat of the driver, we've got the heat of the downlight, in an area that there is no air gaps, there's not enough air circulation, so it's not going to last very long. The other thing is too, I've now introduced 240 volt into my panel. Okay, so in the event that I want to take it out, what I replace it with has to have the driver in there. Because remember, even though we've got 240 volts in there now, we still can't go to a driver on board because of the depth of a driver on board and the actual lack of insulation. Now this is a 75mm panel. This panel is available in 50mm. Okay, so when we're looking at a 50mm, that's not actually going to fit in there either. Now we do have a new MR8 and new MR7s coming out shortly, which are a lot narrower, the 38mm. I still would not recommend putting them into a sandwich panel. These are more set up and more designed for sandwich panels than everything. Now, in with that too, always consult with the installers, the builders, whoever's installing that awning or the carport or whatever it might be. Always talk to them about what their requirements are, because the alternative to all of this too is you could also use LED strip and mount it on the face. We have some great channels that can mount straight across, and your drivers can go into the ceiling space. All right, so this is one issue that people face. Okay, the other issue, which is equally as big, and again is referenced in AS3000, is insulating wool, lights, drivers and things like that. So I'll get Bo to demonstrate now all the issues that people face when they're dealing with insulating wool and installing things in there. Bo, over to you.
Thanks, Wayne. Hi guys. I'll just refresh our memories a little bit about your classic installation situations. So I've got a little demo here. You've got your trusses and beams, and we're just demonstrating with two of our lights, which is an MR10 or 13 or the new MR8. So both of them lights are IC4 rated. So what usually you think about IC4 is, oh, I'm safe, I can cover it, I can do whatever with it. And it is in one way true. So in this situation, you can grab your normal insulation, throw it over, and you're done. Now with the MR10 or 13, we obviously have a driver. Now, with the law, you could actually put the driver under this insulation. It is IC4 rated. But if you care for your customer, you want to put it up on the insulation. Now, what that does, it'll prolong the longevity of this driver, this whole installation. And when the next time you have to do and replace it, you visually see where it is. So hope this short presentation of both me and Wayne helps you out with your everyday troubles that you have. And as suggested, always refer to your AS3000. That will keep you safe and answer all the questions.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for your time today. It's probably a little bit more long-winded than we intended, but there was a lot of information we had to get to you. Remember, guys, you're all those that are electricians, refer to your Bible. You need to refer to this, because if anything goes wrong there, anybody that knocks on your door is going to pick this book up and say you didn't comply with it. And I'd like to thank Bo for your time today. But any other questions, please phone our technical support team.